So, how much is too much when it comes to authenticity and trying to be authentic when you're vlogging or creating a YouTube channel? Now, I've been asking myself this morning because it's very easy to sort of slide back into practicality and efficiency when it comes to recording videos and maybe let some of that authenticity go. But then at the same time, how much of your life should you be exposing to the world? I mean, many of us are private people. I don't know about you, but I'm a super private person. I like to have my life separate. And inevitably, a lot of what you're doing might be very interesting. So you do kind of want to bring people into some aspects of that world. And this is what I struggle with. What is too much, and how much are people actively interested in? I think people want to know who you are, because what makes a vlog or more authentic content interesting is, the roughness, the realness of it. People want to get to know you. They want to feel like they're speaking to a friend. They want to see aspects of your life and the realness. And I've seen vloggers, especially travel vloggers, who have ended up getting doxed a bit because they've stayed in one location and maybe someone doesn't like them, and they've actually ended up having sort of stalkers and having to report them to the police, and then actually changing location even though they loved the place they were staying in. And it's a strange one, but it actually obviously makes sense. You don't want to challenge or risk your safety. So sharing locations and talking too much about locations. And I suppose if you're a travel vlogger, then that's actually why many of them don't upload videos until they actually move on to a new location. So if you've got like a 2-week window with your content, and then you've probably already left the location where you were creating the content on. But if you're more of a, say, expat, then obviously that's a risk, because you're potentially going to be exposing where you are. So there's obviously the safety concerns, but then, there's also the part where maybe you're not sharing enough about yourself. Maybe you're struggling to be authentic. Maybe you're struggling to be your authentic self. And God, it is so hard. It really is. We sort of slide back into our persona, the persona that we create. And I don't know about you guys, but I worked in hospitality, and obviously you have to put on this persona for professionalism. And I think if you're doing any type of job and you've done it for any extended period of time, you have your sort of work persona. And that's normally a professional person. Maybe things are changing these days, the workplace is getting more relaxed and everything else. But trying to step out of that professional persona and into a more authentic one, because when you're recording these videos, there's no doubt that you're not behaving in the same way that you would with friends. Like you're not on camera necessarily speaking to a friend. And when you do get it right, you notice the engagement and people relate to it in a different way. So it is difficult, but when you break down that barrier, when you drop that sort of professional facade and you let people in more. So it is a challenge, and it's one I can definitely say that I can speak to at the moment, in the sense that you just keep sliding away from the more relaxed approach of actually just speaking to camera. Don't get me wrong, all of my videos are just sort of bullet points and everything else. I try and keep things as relaxed as possible. But you start to talk more about the thing that the video's on and less about your life very quickly. And I uploaded a video recently about my new sort of beach house project and going to turn it into a studio and things like that. And there wasn't a huge amount of interest, although the channel is seeing a dip at the moment, which is my fault for jumping around all over the place, changing formats all the time, and not really doubling down on what was relevant and what my audience actually wanted. I actually looked at the metrics this morning, and yeah, I definitely did not maintain my relevancy in the right areas at all. I completely swung around and jumped around all over the place. So it is important to see what your audience are searching for, and maybe I'll do a video on the sort of analytics a bit more and the key things to look at. Although I did a video on relevancy recently, and I would say that and a few other sort of key metrics in terms of watch time and, to a degree, click-through rate are important to look at. So making videos your audience want, obviously important, but connecting with them, and this second layer when it comes to vlogging that I'm always talking about, is really about introducing aspects of your life or additional passions or anything else. And really just trying to bring in and maintain that authenticity is a challenge. So I think you have to decide what is too much. How much of your life do you want to bring in? Do you want to bring your family into it to a degree? Do you want to bring elements of your family life and that sort of thing? Maybe they're just in the background and you speak to it more. But what is it that you're okay with? And I think you also have to ask yourself, are you being too reserved? Like, are you holding back too much? Because no one really gives a crap. We all think we're going to get lots of haters and people are going to judge us for our life and everything else. And, there may be the odd one who doesn't give a crap. But for the most part, people are interested. People are kind. People are nice. People are interested. So, sharing your life and who you are, just as you would if you were meeting people and talking about your experiences and everything else. Now, obviously, if you were sort of networking and out and about, you're only going to share so much. You're not going to tell people your life story straight away. But you are going to share daily stories and relate on topics of things that happened within your week in your life. And then you're going to try and find shared experiences and things to talk about and talk to. And maybe talk about things in the news and the weather and all of these sort of superficial things. But you do inevitably want to go a bit deeper. And I think it's okay to struggle with that, finding that authentic voice. Because being on camera is weird enough. Like it is weird. It is difficult enough as it is. You're sort of mindful that you're, like me now, holding a stick out my arm. My arm's getting tired. It's like, you think, this is odd, and then you're getting distracted by all the things around you as well. So it's trying to remember to speak to the camera like it's a friend, but also, deciding what you want to share within your life. It's kind of why I like the idea of projects like the house project and everything else, the studio project, because then it gives you an extra single focus that's relatable and sort of carries on between different videos. It's a topic that you can keep talking to and relating back to, and if people watch more than one video, then they obviously will be interested in knowing how it's going and everything else. So being authentic, trying to open up. It's definitely speaking to a friend, I think is the best way to look at it. But maybe you're reserved with your friends. So I think authenticity is a difficult one, and deciding how much to share and not falling back into your sort of safe space of efficiency and professionalism. Although these are important things, you still want to maintain that authentic part. I mean, I can see in all the comments that people really want more rough. They want more simple. They don't even want music. People say that they like relatively low cut and everything else. Like, the more mistakes you make, people actually often like these mistakes these days. Like I've accidentally made mistakes or haven't been able to think of something, and I've gone, I think there was one particular thing that was speaking to a particular type of course when it comes to public speaking, and people are going to tell me about it now. There's Toastmasters. You know how many people corrected me or told me the gap? And it shows how they were paying attention and the interest parts, but people love the mistakes and the parts where you're trying to think of something but can't, and you sort of share that as you would with a friend in a normal conversation. So I think the challenge of breaking down that professionalism is something that we all overcome. So you've got to ask yourself, what are you willing to do? How much do you want to share of things, and how much do you want to keep private? What are you doing in terms of safety for yourself and making sure that you're not endangering yourself or your family by oversharing? And then I think also asking yourself if you're not sharing enough out of fear. Are you limiting what you share because you're worried about how you're going to be judged and everything else? So I think it's important to address that sort of how much is too much, and that's going to be different for everyone. Some people just like to share their entire life and put it all out there. Where others of us, especially those who are a little bit more shy, a little bit more reserved, we perhaps don't want to share that much. But I think a lot of it still comes from fear. So it's something that you need to ask about, or maybe just start doing a daily vlog and actually seeing that you just get used to speaking to the camera and sharing more, and then deciding if you actually want to even upload those videos. Well, those are my thoughts anyways for the day. If you liked it, hit the like button, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.